Hello, folks, and to celebrate their 50th anniversary, I guess, they decided to make this, and this is, of course, a movie review. They decided to make this movie. For me, the original was the all time favorite for me when it comes to Scooby Doo movies. All time favorite, because it was just too good, and their promo for it was so well done, and they actually made sure it mixed in the freaking creep factor. So it's like that movie was the best movie ever. Not to mention that that movie actually kicked off all of the Scooby Doo movies that happened later on. So it was like that success of that movie made the movies continue on even to this day, technically. And it's like, wow. I mean, yeah, in the 80s or in the 70s, they had the Shaggy and Scooby thing, and they gave a nod to that in this movie, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But more than anything, Zombie Island was just so damn good. So, anyways, here's a little small little snippet of it. So, anyone who actually want to watch the movie, but it's kind of the one where I'm like, yeah, you can watch the movie, but it kind of is. It's like what happens with so many sequels, is that they do it just to get the rise out of people, and yet so many sequels just aren't as good as the first one, and that's how it is. And this one actually does some damage considering they had so much stuff in the first movie that they glanced over it so badly. They actually, I think it was not South Park, it was Family Guy who had that one where the guy just took some kind of cardboard or something and just kept on hitting the guy in the head. He's trying to reach up and he just keeps on getting hit in the head until he finally gets knocked out. That's what they do with this, being like, hey, remember the first movie? Remember the first movie? It's like it got too very messed up where it's like, yeah, I get reminiscing it, but my goodness, not to mention you reminisce all the parts that really truly matter, but the ones that really, really definitely matter, you guys forgot those completely. You looked at it, but you actually decide to spin it a different way for at least one character. So, anyways, it turns out Fred actually sold his van. Oh my gosh, what? It's like, yeah, Fred actually sold the mystery van. If you kind of remember what happened in the first movie was is gonna happen, we gotta compare notes. The first movie, what happened is exactly what happened in this one, except instead of Mystery Inc. disbanded and they went their separate ways, they're all together still, but Mystery Inc. is gone. We're just like, huh? It's like I don't even remember what happened when it came to the movie. All I remember is that they just went their separate ways, and that's what they did. They went their separate ways. You had Fred and Daphne doing a TV show. Technically, they were doing a TV show, but in this movie, they said that the show was actually a school program slash project. Yeah, right. Yeah, that was horrible. That was horribly written. What's even worse is that technically, when it came to these movies, especially Zombie Island was the first one to do it. Was like they grew up now. They're not teenagers anymore. They're actually adults. And it's like, yeah, that's one reason why you couldn't really do a sequel to Zombie Island because they were freaking adults. I mean, until they did the reboot of the movies, then it's like, yeah, they're teenagers again. But it's kind of like, ugh, on the whole part of y'all guys know it's an all-time movie, but yet you guys kind of miss all the factors that actually matter. Where it's like, if you're going to do Return to Zombie Island, for the love of God, at least do the right thing. Make it so that it's actually in the first universe of it instead of, I think this is either the second or third. I'm not sure. Well, even so, he sold his van, and apparently, the sheriff was the one who's been telling him, hey, I know best. You shouldn't be doing mysteries again. You could get yourself hurt and stuff. And it's like, my goodness, you know how many adventures they've been on? It's like, do you know? It's like, when you say that crap and say he knows best, technically the sheriff should have just been took just placed way back in the very beginning. Be like, there you go. The first ever mission they did, first ever mystery they did. This should be where you actually say, oh, I know best. You're going to get yourself hurt. It's been freaking, well, it's been decades for us, but for the Mystery Inc., it's been like what, a couple of years or so. It's like they've been doing it for years. You can't really say, "Oh, you're gonna get yourself hurt and stuff." It's like they know the risk these days. They've been new to risk, so it's kind of stupid. Or it's like, well, I know best. It's like, yeah, well, you should have did that like way in the very beginning, not now. It's like, oh, now you're going to give them advice? Are you kidding me? And during this whole entire thing that they did, there's basically a bunch of a family that was just scamming people, yeah, making them say, "Oh my gosh, monsters!" And two iconics showed up, two of the iconic monsters that the creeper and the other guy I forgot the name of because, yes, I like Scooby Doo, but I don't really remember their names. I mean, come on, I watched Scooby Doo as a kid. As for Teen Gohan, kid and teenager, I kind of grew sick and tired of watching the same old thing. I mean, I wanted something new, and that's when What's New Scooby Doo showed up, along with many of the other ones. May some of them rest in peace. So, anyways, Velma has a blog, which technically gets to the point of being like, well, yeah, it makes sense she has a blog, but and they make fun of it being like she has a blog. It's like, dang, all the other four don't even know she did that. And I guess the real crazy part is to be the fact of where, and skipping ahead, it's like Velma's like, all I have is just mystery solving. That's my only interest. And oh my gosh, are you kidding me? In Zombie Island, the original one, she was at a bookstore and she was talking about how she was writing books and trying to get herself published, and she enjoyed reading books. Why in the world would she be in a bookstore if she actually enjoy reading books? Doesn't enjoy reading books. So it's kind of messed up where it's like you remember all the good parts of the movie, but the one key essential details you forgot. That's messed up. That's freaking messed up. So even though I don't think it's Elvira really, the real Elvira guest starred in this movie, so that's pretty cool. Scooby and Shaggy actually made the others promise not to do any more mysteries, not to take on any more mysteries, not to look for any of them. And I'm like, oh, that's messed up. And I come to the question and be like, why couldn't you ditch Scooby and Shaggy? I mean, you guys said how easy it's been, how you guys found a flow to actually do mystery solving. You would figured you'll be like, you know what? We don't need Scooby and Shaggy, even though, yes, I know the freaking movie is called Scooby Doo. But I'm just saying, they technically don't need the other two. They could actually start actually being like, well, we don't need you two. We don't need a distraction. We're gonna have like something that you have to get used to, which will give you a good challenge. It's like, yeah, that's a freaking awesome challenge, am I right? So why not? And of course, like I said, lots of hints to the previous one. And then you see a cat person that's been sabotaging. I named him Apex, the Apex cat person. Even though I know Apex doesn't really exist, and thanks Adam Conover for saying that crap, but even so, it's like, yeah, but this is the Apex person. This is the person that actually you don't really want to deal with at all. And you would figure it's just one cat person. It's like, okay, then how does this work? Because if you remember the first movie, as soon as they did one certain thing, all the cats actually just deteriorated. They just went to nothing. And now you have a brand new cat person. It's like, oh, great. Well, you guys gonna have to explain this to us because now you made it a total freaking mystery tailspin of where it's like, okay, so how does this work? Okay, well, let's say this. Maybe there was one extra person that was doing the cat ceremony, and then he actually was like, oh, I absorb people already. He's the loner type. He's like, I do it in my own will. So he actually leaves, and when he comes back, he finds out everyone's knocked out and dead. You would figure then you're like, oh, but then the pendant. Shouldn't he have hit the pendant if the pendant's very important? And it's like, other hand, since he's a loner, doesn't that mean that he has a pendant of his own? So that means that he shouldn't even care about the other pendant. He doesn't really care about it. So yeah, not to mention if he does do things on his own, doesn't that mean that he actually has many other zombies? So there should actually have been more zombies just crowding around, be like, oh, oh. So it's like, yeah, this is a messed up loophole they just created. This is a plot hole that they just created. Good job, guys. So, anyways, yeah, like I said, the show was apparently a school program slash project. And it's like, no, that's not true. She actually had her own TV station, a TV channel that actually was like, yeah, so we have her, and she actually is on our TV show. And she has her own TV show. Heck, it's a talk show. And it's like, yeah, that definitely isn't a school project. I mean, yeah, you try to redcon stuff, but you can't really redcon. Excuse me. Excuse me. So Velma actually has no interest. I already talked about that part, and that's really hilarious. And then one thing you do need to remember about Zombie Island is that yes, it's an island, but it's an island in Louisiana. So they should actually have some New Orleans like little hints too. It's like they missed the details that really truly mattered because like yeah, the island was in freaking Louisiana. So technically they're in Louisiana, but no one has anything to say that oh, we're going back to Louisiana. Wasn't that where dun, 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 dun. So it's like there should maybe be a deleted scene, but why in the world are you gonna delete that scene? And what I was thinking about is like, yeah, the name itself, Return to Zombie Island. If you really want to do something cool, instead of being like, well, we're gonna remix it and then we're gonna retcon stuff, just call it like Zombie Island Revisited. So at least it's like it's not Return to Zombie Island, it's Zombie Island Revisited. Next is Scooby Doo and Shaggy's force. Their promise actually backfires on them, and they try their best. It's like, yeah, Daphne, Velma, and Fred tried their best to actually stay in the promise, and they were like, oh, you didn't see zombies. They're just people with mud masks and stuff. It's like, it's very funny where it's like, ha, looks like it's backfiring on you. It's like, that's awesome. And what's even crazier is that Scooby and Shaggy forgot about the promise too, where they're like, do something. It's like, y'all guys forgot the damn promise, man. Talk about hey, remember when people talked about how Shaggy's a hippie and he actually do la 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 la? you, you would figure it's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he does the la 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 la, and he forgot all about the promise. Even though it's like, are you kidding me? I'm pretty sure he should have figured out that there's the promise. It's like it becomes like South Park where you have Chef with the whole change our flag thing, and it's like that flag is racist. Oh, oh, yeah. So you have Scooby and Shaggy be like, oh, and we're like, oh, how the frick is it? Oh, you made the damn promise, and you telling me out of nowhere you guys forgot. And you're like, oh, solve this mystery, guys. And it's like you made them make the promise. How the frick do you forget? It's kind of like where you have someone who's like, don't follow me. And then later on, you're like, wait, why are you not following me? It's like, what the world is going on here? So it's amazing how it goes. It's like it's fake zombies. Apparently, it's supposed to be a movie production, kind of like a somewhat snuff film. The fact that real reactions, live actual reactions in this movie, where it's like no one's faking it. There's no acting involved. This is actually pure emotion being shown in this movie. But of course, they break the code, and since they actually broke that whole entire mystery, there we go. And well, you have Fred actually getting a stunt man. So Fred, yeah, so Fred has a stunt man, and they have a different version of the monster, a monster one guy's the mystery vehicle, the mystery machine. And then it gets a little bit crazier from here. Where it just turns out, oh, so here we go. It turns out that the zombies aren't real. Yes, I know because of movie productions. And then it looks like it's a double cross where it's like the freaking director's like, I want this film finished. I burned down the freaking boat. And it's like, oh my gosh. Yeah, it's like he's gone freaking him crazy and he's wearing a pendant and the freaking cat people are now following him. Now it's not one person, one cat person, it is three. But if you notice, the apex cat person is still not there with them. So it's like, so the apex cat person slashed the freaking fake palm tree. Yeah, so they dressed it up to look like a paradise, but of course it's Louisiana. But they don't want to mention that for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah, so he scratches the freaking fake palm tree, scratches the freaking van's wheel, and poor guy who's fixing the van, he got screwed over. He still got screwed over. And then, of course, it's a chandelier. So the cat person actually just attacked 3 times randomly. And we don't even understand or know why. So it's like, we have no idea this apex cat person, what his motives are. We have no idea whatsoever. Maybe it's just him being very defensive, being like, get off my damn land. This is still mine, even though it's no deed to me. But considering this is our land, get the fuck off our land. It's like, that's what's going on here. He can't speak, and he's like, "Get off our fucking land! Like, get off my land!" It's like, damn. You would figure he would be able to put up signs or something, but considering I think he's more bestial than human, I don't know. So this is his way of saying, "Get off my land," but that's just a theory, a game theory. Shut the hell up! No, a movie theory. Shut the hell up! We're not doing that. So basically, let's see. We get to the cat people. So the cat people are now controlling the cats, and apparently there's cat whistles involved. And of course, the cat people are fake. It turns out the 2 people who are like, "Welcome to the island. Get out before you still can." And of course, the ferry driver who's like, "I'm gonna leave this within one day. One day, I'm getting the fuck out of here because of these damn zombies." It's like, my goodness, what the frick? Yeah, but considering his boat, that's the same boat that got burned down, you kind of would figure, okay, well, where's that dude? He should have. It's like that dude should be right now a little bit pissed. It's like that's your freaking damn boat. But considering he's gonna sacrifice the boat just to look for some money, well, some freaking gold stuff, and that's what technically this is a wrap up of is the mystery of the Moonscar Gold, his treasury hidden. Yeah, so the 3 fake ones actually were looking for the gold and they got trapped later on. Of course, they did a nice little homage to the usual Scooby Doo chase scenes. So that was cool. And then yeah, we get to the end of where it's like, yep, so you guys got busted, too bad. And then the cats all of a sudden was just like, well, if the cats can freaking figure this out, then how the frick did the cats actually do that in the movie? That's kind of sad. Where it's like, are you kidding me? It's like, yeah, the gold should have been long gone if that's what happened. It's like they don't care about the cat people. They have some loyalties to them, but who cares? So they should have already been dug up the freaking treasure, and it should have just been not even anything. It should have just been those three protecting the gold and being like, we got to get everyone off this island so we can get the gold off this island so we can live like kings. It's like that makes a better story than this whole thing of where it's like all of a sudden the cats know and they just do it. It's like, well, it should have been uncovered then. I mean, what the frick? So yeah, that's the basic end of it. And then we got the apex cat person still out there, and it's like, well, you just created this freaking damn plot hole, this loophole of sorts, of where it's like, technically they all the cat people should have been knocked the fuck out, but apparently we got this 4th person who apparently wasn't on the island, I guess, and he's freaking safe, even though it's like, well, technically what should happen here is that they just bust them, just freaking be like, okay, remember what we did last time? Okay, let's do it again. And then it's like, there you go. And no voodoo dolls, no voodoo at all done here. We're just like, yeah, that would have been cool if they would actually looked into the voodoo part. And of course, some things to note is they did mention the reluctant werewolf in Unsolved Mysteries, and it's like, huh, yeah, but it's mostly because the 2 things that were in there, which is Zombie Island and Reluctant Werewolf, is that those two, even though how in the world would she know? I guess I don't really know. How in the world did Shaggy tell him? But even so, it's like, yeah, but the 2 things that are really like the unsolved mysteries are ones that she can't cope with that have supernatural abilities, and that's why she was like, ah, frig it, the zombies were made from the swamp gas. There's swamp gas out there, and that would turn the people into like somewhat zombie like states. And it's like, freak it, man. It's like, yeah, she'll never care about supernatural abilities. Not even in the supernatural episode, she actually really went for it. As for Reluctant Werewolf, The real mystery here is where's Shaggy's girlfriend? It's like, yeah, you keep on dodging that, and then all of a sudden, here we go again. It's like, where is Shaggy's girlfriend? Apparently, she's a movie exclusive character for those movies. Let's see. Well, at least 1 to 2 movies, but still, we don't even get closure on where the hell is she? Did she find a better place? Excuse me. Did she find a boyfriend and now she has a husband and Shaggy got screwed over? Did she actually get killed? We don't know. This is the freaking cold case of the century for the Scooby Doo franchise, period. Who cares about Scrappy Doo? Scrappy Doo most likely went back to his mom and dad. Frick that. It's like, frick that crap. We already know what happened to him. He went back to his family. So that's the real thing is Wendy. Where the frick did Wendy? I think her name is Wendy. Where the frick did she go? That's our real mystery here. Where the frick did she go? I would love it if we do Reluctant Werewolf 2, where it's like all this time Shaggy secretly was trying to look for her, but it doesn't look like he was actually heartbroken, and maybe that's why he's eating more food than ever, is because he's coping with his feelings. And then Reluctant Werewolf 2, it turns out all this time Dracula freaking kidnapped Wendy, and he's been waiting for decades to be like, oh, Shaggy, well, guess what? You don't want to do the race anymore? Well, it's too bad you have to, because I have Wendy here. And it's like, oh my gosh, you're the one who had Wendy this whole entire fucking time. And it's like, yep. And this actually get her freedom is you have to do this race once again. Or maybe, I don't know, he tries to actually screw him over and make him do races forever. Uh, I'm just saying that we can actually close this chapter on where the hell is Wendy with the next freaking sequel to Reluctant Werewolf, which most likely will never come. But even so, it's like we need closure for Wendy. We seriously need closure for Wendy. It's like as if she never happened. And that sucks. But I guess we gotta do the usual thing when it comes to this movie. Oh yeah. I forgot to talk about this part. When it comes to Shaggy these days, Shaggy lost his original voice actor. He is gone, and I'm pretty sure we had a news. It was in the news too that yeah, it was like even a Dateline or something that apparently all the people responsible are in freaking his wheel. They're fighting for the money. They're fighting for the monies. But meanwhile, we don't really care about that anymore. Screw it. Whoever gets the money, go right ahead, freak it. But more importantly, it's the fact of out of all the people who were in the live action movies, Lillard, I think that's how to say his name, he got the freaking moment of a lifetime because, well, he nailed Shaggy in the live action. So out of nowhere, he was the complete fit to become Shaggy once and for all. So yeah, he it is crazy that after all this time, he actually got to have the promising thing of being like he is Shaggy now forever. He gets to be Shaggy, and I'm like, that's freaking awesome. Plus, he's not doing much, but at least the good news is that he became a no name, and now he is technically the iconic voice of Shaggy. Of course, the original one, yeah, but now you got a person who can go toe to toe with him. As for what happened to Velma, I don't know what happened to Velma's actor. For all we know, she could actually have died too, and rest in peace if she did. If not, then it's like, oh, well, that sucks. Why in the world did you ditch? But considering there's many people who actually go in retirement these days, like, oh yes, the person who voiced Harley Quinn, she left. She freaking left after a decade. She was like, oh, well, the animated series was good and doing the video games was good as well, but this, I mean, I'm out. And it's like, oh, could we at least have her like in one episode of the Harley Quinn series, like a guest starring? Like, come on, one more time, please, just one more time. But oh well. As for watch or don't watch, like I said, this one's kind of one where it's like you can definitely watch it. It kind of adds to it, but it kind of retcons too. It's like they knew what they were doing somewhat, but for some reason they didn't know all the stuff they were doing. It's like, yeah, that's the real bad part about this. It's like this is a sequel where it's like it's here, you can watch it if you wish, but it really doesn't do anything. It doesn't really do the original justice. And I was looking at the artwork too. I was looking at the animation. If you notice the original one made things truly hardcore serious, while this one is cartoony up the wazoo. It's like at least the cat people actually were done a little bit more intimidating. Yeah, and it's kind of funny now being like, oh, well, the zombies were staged. And it's like, okay, fine. They were staged. Okay, it makes sense why they look goofy. Sure, that works kind of fine. But just the cat people, it's like, especially an Apex one. Apex one should have been done like a unbelievably gruesome look, and it's like, oh my fucking god. But it just, in the end, just makes a freaking hole, being like, whoa, there's a new cat person in town, and that's all we're gonna tell you. It's like, what the frick, really? It was done in a nice little bow. It's just that Velma couldn't actually stand it, and it's like, Velma doesn't like the occult stuff. She can't get through it. So it's like, I don't really know what to say on that one. It's like, it's closed for all of us except for Velma. But more importantly, I'm like, you just opened the wound in the end. It's like, in the end, you opened up the freaking wound of where. Come on. Turn on. Oh, yeah, sorry about that. Wrong button. She just opened the wound about, again, where the hell is Wendy? Where did Wendy, or maybe her name was Wanda, either way, it's like, where did she go? She just disappeared and now the gang is back together. And it's like, what the frick? Can we? Uh, I do have to admit, though, Scooby Doo Get a Clue was a good show, though. It was a freaking awesome show. It just sucks that they don't have a complete series of that. Because if they complete series that and put it on DVD, I would buy it. Instead, they just pieced that out. Oh yeah, not to mention, it was crazy. It's like he loves that van, but in Scooby Doo Get a Clue, oh, Scooby and Shaggy got to keep the van though. That was kind of weird. That's pretty kind of weird. Well, whatever, man. I say it's up to you guys. If you want to watch it, go right ahead. If you don't want to watch it, I don't blame you. I gave you all that you need to know. Have a good day.